Good afternoon from wherever you're tuning in. This is T and Tarot. Welcome back, y'all. I have not been on the Instagram Live platform doing T and Tarot in quite a long time. I've been doing the T and Tarot still monthly over on YouTube and have been really feeling the call to come back here on the Instagram Live platform and pull some tarot with you all and vibe with you all and just see how everybody's doing. I don't know if I'm gonna continue to be doing these every single week. Right now the goal is to just kind of see how it goes and how sustainable it is for me and how much the community actually, wants it and needs it to be weekly, because that kind of reciprocal relationship and energy is super important to me, especially when pulling tarot. And if the tarot energy doesn't necessarily always need my voice, you know what I'm saying? Unless I'm working with specific clients, at least on a collective level. I see a couple people in the chat. Shout out to Kiani up in here. So usually at the beginning of Tea and Tarot, I always like to do updates and just see how everyone's doing and just kind of check in. So if you are here in the live and want to share down below in the comments, what's going on in your world this week? How are you feeling? How are we doing? I'm going to put some information here and in the little, the chat box. Hey, shout out to Jade up in the chat. Shout out to Look Cypher. They were just doing some stuff at Shady Lady yesterday. And they be holding it down for a lot of MCs and now R&B vocalists as well. So if you do not know Look Cypher, definitely tap into their page because they be creating an amazing amount of opportunities for Sacramento artists. And I was just talking about this last night, how much it really reminds me of Team Backpack and that kind of platform, and how much Team Backpack really influenced me as an artist and as an MC. So salute to them. Thanks for being here. But like I said, we're here at Tea and Tarot, so I'm just going to go ahead and drop in the chat a little information. And while I'm doing that, definitely share with me how you all are doing. We're going to go ahead and do some check-ins. Just how's everyone's mental health? How's everyone's headspace these days? How's everyone's heart doing? Tarot for me is such a reciprocal practice, and it's really all about tapping into our subconscious and the things that, we're not always aware of on the day-to-day because we have so much going on in our lives that we don't always have the chance to check in with our heart and our mind and our bodies to see how we are. And tarot to me is this really intentional practice where you get that opportunity to say, okay, how am I feeling? What is happening inside my body? What is going on in my heart? What is going on in my mind? What is going on in the energy around me and within me? Which I think can be super helpful so that we can work with those energies and with those thoughts and feelings instead of having it work against us or just continue to be this subconscious thing that comes out in other ways, right? So that's in its most simplest form is what tarot is about. There's a lot of history and different, perspectives on the tarot, but for me it's really more about a self-reflection therapeutic tool that is used to tap deeper within yourself and the world around you and whatever your specific belief system is, whether you believe in a specific religion or the divine or a higher power or your own self. People use tarot for many different reasons, so definitely join me in tapping in. This is called Tea and Tarot, so grab a drink if you don't have one already. Those who know on my Tea and Tarots, I never have tea. I always have coffee, but Tea and Tarot just sounds nicer than coffee and tarot. But I've been bringing the tea in the readings. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I'm still trying to type all of this, and then I'm gonna read some of the chats and share some check-ins from myself. And I never what's it called? I never come on here and think about like what I'm gonna say for my check-ins. I try to just make it as genuine and in the moment as possible. I'm also gonna put my Cash App on here if those who do feel called and would like to support me in that way. It's definitely super appreciated. I am a full-time artist, and it's always pay what you can, and if you're just here and that's all you can do, that is good enough to me. All right, let's go ahead and see what's happening in the chat. Manuel La Limon says, Black sessions this Sunday at Graph Roots. I'll be on the 1s and 2s. Hey, that's right. That's okay. Anyone else have any events happening here in Sacramento or anywhere else? You are more than welcome to drop that in the chat as well. Let's see. Kiani said, very playful, over-caffeinated, writing a lot. I'm always over-caffeinated. Yes, I love that. And me and Kiani have been working on a track together, so I'm really excited for that as well. And can't wait to keep working on that with you. So I'm glad to hear your writing, and you're such a dope artist, so keep doing your thing. Grizzy in the mist. I've been feeling really good lately, and I know there are a couple new things coming to my life. I'm ready to cheat. Ready to cheat. What does it say? No judgment. This is a judgment-free zone. Salute to Hip Hop Apparel. I see join the chat. And Kiani says, I have a show Sunday at Golden Bear. Oh yeah, October 26th. You, Mother Venom, and a couple of others are performing that day as well. Yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing that in the chat. Okay, updates for your girl over here. Man, like I said, I've just been feeling called to do this live because it's been a minute since I did it live, and there's a lot going on in the world and in our daily lives, and I always feel personally also, not only with everything going on out in the world, but also in the winter months, it tends to get, just quieter, and we're indoors more, and we can get more isolated, and it's, to me, some of the best times to do some of that kind of grounding inner work, because you're not as busy usually as you were in the summer. You're not going out and hanging out all day in the sun. There's a lot more like, oh, it's too cold to go out, and I want to lay in bed, and all those kind of energies, and that can be self-isolating, which it's definitely taking care of your mental health and paying attention to that. But it also can be really, really potent energy to work with, to self-reflect and to dive deeper and to really work on these different aspects and parts of ourselves that tarot kind of brings up. And, just kind of check in with your own inner energy, your inner self and spirit, whatever that means to you. And so I've been really feeling called to come up on here. I'm glad that I made it. I'm here. And what else I got going on? I think most of y'all know I dropped my album, my second self-produced project, on 9/16 Day called Moving Different. That was a year and a half in the making about, so I'm just super grateful that it's finally out. And it's just hit over 1,000 streams, and that was only on one platform. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. Share it with a friend. Go bump it, and there's a music video for it that's out as well that was shot by Bay God. Shout out to them. Some dope fairy visuals for you all for the single on it called As Above, So Below. I have a show coming up on December 15th here in Sacramento. And I have the album release party will be happening on January 18th with myself and Madi Bush, who also is an artist here in Sacramento, who released their album as well on 9/16 Day. So definitely save those dates, because I'm super excited to perform the album in its entirety and to celebrate its release. It's also going to be the 3-year anniversary of the collective that I'm the co-coordinator of, SAC 916. Shout out to my girl Amber. She's the founder and my manager. And we've been, running SAC 916 together now for 3 years, which is wild to me. So January is our 3-year mark and marks the first show that we did together. And she's incredible, and I'm just so grateful that we get to work together. And grateful for all the different shows and things we've been able to do in the community. We host a bi-monthly called Culture Circle that's happening tonight. And then the next one will be November 13th. And that's an open mic space that you can come check out. And we also have features, and I do sound over there. But we've gotten to do a lot of great, incredible things together, and I'm just super grateful to know her and to get to work with her, and to get to celebrate 3 years of working together. So that's a little bit of things that are happening in my world. What else? On a personal tip, one thing, and I talked a little bit at this, shout out to Jay Did It. She does Thursday therapies. That's her podcast. I really recommend people checking it out. It's a super incredible podcast, and they definitely dive deep, the kind of questions that she asks her guests. And I wasn't expecting, honestly, I just did my interview yesterday. I was not expecting some of the questions that she asked, and it definitely took me places and had me talking about things I don't usually talk about, and don't even necessarily feel like I have all the right words yet, because there's stuff that I'm still working on and working through. You know, we're always works in progress, you know. So point being on that is that it definitely was a reflective interview. And one of the things I talked about was that a lot of what I'm working on currently is kind of re-showing up in spaces and how I show up in spaces. Because I tend to hide a lot from life and spaces and the world and everything, and have struggled in the past to be able to, know how to connect and say things, and tend to just take a step back instead. Or when I do say things, I feel like it's not necessarily landing always the way that I want it to. And I have ADHD, you know, shout out to all my neurodivergent friends. But, you know, it's something, it's been a lifelong thing for me, but definitely in this era of my life, that's been the main thing that I'm working on, is like kind of integrating myself into community and connecting into that in this like space of like, what does that mean in this new, because I'm not who I once was. There's been so much transformation that's happened over the last year or so, and I think that album Moving Different really accumulates like that experience and why it's titled Moving Different and where I am personally in my life. But that also translates to like how I show up in spaces and how can I show up better for myself and for others, and more intentional as an artist, really. And you know, we're always constantly trying to get better at what we do. So that's been something on a personal tip of what I've been working on. Hey, Jada's gonna come to the album release. Yes, I would love for Look Cypher to be there as well, and down to collaborate with you all in some capacity around that. Because Bush has been hecka involved with you guys, and we haven't set up the lineup for it yet, so we should definitely chat about that, and would love to do something if you all are open to it. Hey, Torch One Blazing, what's good in the chat? Hey. Kiani says, shedding our debris and leaves like trees. That's right. I had a song, one of my first songs I ever wrote was like, it's like, dun and trees, it's like trees, leaves, and good weed, good energy, good company. I don't know why reading that just made me think of this song. Me and my friend wrote that. It was one of the first songs I ever released on SoundCloud, almost like 10 years ago now. Grizz says, I'm getting my barber license in February. If you need a cut in Santa Rosa, I got you guys. Hey, that's right. Congratulations. That's exciting. I just got my hair cut. Well, you know, I don't get like crazy cut or anything. And I was just talking to my hairstylist about like the process of that and how do you, it's a passion, it's an art, you know what I mean? So definitely that's a huge accomplishment. I hope you feel proud of yourself, and thanks for sharing that here. All right, any other updates? How are we feeling, everybody? I think I'm about ready to dive into this tarot and see what comes out. If there's anything specific that, people want, to hear advice on or, want me to pull for, let me know. But in general, most of it will just be collective kind of energies and see what comes out. I also call these intuitive vibe sessions because the way that I pull tarot is that I personally believe that you as the person receiving the tarot is just as important part of the process as me giving the tarot. There's no hierarchy in tarot to me, and it's not like the tarot reader is the all-seeing, all-knowing person who is just so much wiser and has all the knowledge that you don't have. Like, I don't believe that's how tarot works, and in my opinion, when people say that, it's a lot of like fear-mongering and ego, rather than what tarot really is, which is it's really about, yes, understanding the tarot and the messages and the history behind it, but also just like tapping into the images and your intuition, kind of like a Rothschild's test, and in therapy, like, what do you see? I see mountains. Mountains are challenges. Maybe you're going through a challenge right now, you know? That's like its simplest form. And it's very important for you to activate your own intuition, because the images and things that it may stir up in you are going to be specific to what's going on in your journey. And that's how you get the most out of the tarot. And in sessions when you're receiving a tarot reading, is really applying it, how it fits your situation and what it's stirring in your subconscious and in your intuition, right? You said you talk about trees and leaves and the breeze in our new song. Was that inspired by the season? Maybe. You know, I didn't even think about that. There is a verse in our song, Kiani, where I talk about words come in from the breeze like leaves. You know, maybe that it does, like the winds of change for sure. And this season definitely feels like a winds of change. You said the words that pop up for me are self-rootedness and confidence. Yeah, this is definitely an era of redefining my sense of being rooted in confidence. I love that. Sparks Across Darkness is in the building. What's good? All right, let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to go ahead and start by grounding in. This is just an opportunity for you to kind of check in with your body, check in with your mind, check in with your spirit. If you're not driving, you're not moving, you're in a safe, comfortable place, you want to sit crisscross applesauce, or you can sit with your feet firmly planted on the ground and kind of sitting up straight. I like to place one hand over my heart and one hand over my gut area, but really it's whatever makes you feel comfortable, releasing any tension you might have in your body. And we're just going to take a couple conscious breaths together. So I want to invite you to join me, taking a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just really thanking the divine, whatever it is that you believe in, yourself, your higher self, spirit, you know, for this time and this ability to check in with yourself this day that you got here to this part of the day. Take another deep breath in and out through the mouth. Really just filling into your body and noticing any kind of feelings or anything that might be coming up for you, how you might be feeling, what's on your heart today. Really thinking about that in the forefront of your mind. Another deep breath in. And I'm just asking that these messages come in for your highest good, for our highest good, and make perfect sense to you here today. Deep breath out. Last deep breath in. Just really asking that this time is a sacred container for us to be able to do this work and to allow us to be open to the messages we need to receive. Deep breath out. And I always like to wiggle and shake it out, you know. All right, what are we drinking on today? Anybody got some tea or coffee? I am still sipping on that Pete's coffee, always and forever. That's always my vibe. Not gonna lie, I love Pete's coffee, and every single time I come on here, I'm always talking about Pete's coffee. Shout out to Underground Promoter, who is up in the building. Reckless Radio. Demon X-Boy says, love to be open-minded to tarot. Had a reading years ago and it for sure changed my perspective on what tarot is. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people have different views of tarot, and it's very important that you feel like the tarot reader you have, it makes, their way of doing tarot connects with what you feel comfortable with, because there are tarot readers who will say things that are like, this is gonna happen and you can't do anything about it, and are a little bit more different in their belief and approach. And it's just like anything, there's good stylists and people who do certain jobs that you agree with their methods and their ethics, and then there's certain people who don't, but I definitely believe that you have free will and everything is constantly changing, and tarot is just a snapshot of it's like a mirror. I'm holding up a mirror of the energy that is reflecting, because we're all made of energy, we're all connected to the same energy in my own belief, right? And it's like that's just all it is just a reflection of that energy. And that can change literally in 5 minutes. All right. But why do we do it? So that we are aware, and so that we can work with it, and so that we can build and grow from there, All right. So let's go ahead and start with, overall energy right now for the collective. What's the overall vibe? that wants to come out. Oh, we got two things. Okay. We got the Magician. And I'm going to hold this right here because, like I said, this is an intuitive vibe session. And part of what I like to do, especially on the lives, is give everybody else an opportunity here to connect with the card as well. And maybe can I get this to work? Okay, there you go. And also use your own intuition and your own, what you see, and share it down below in the comments. If there's any kind of image that sticks out to you, maybe it's a six-pack. But I never noticed that till right now. Sorry. Y'all can tell what's on my mind. Whatever it is that you guys are seeing right now that is sticking out to you, take note of that. And if you have a journal, you can journal it down. Maybe it's the roses and you're really thinking about rose energy. And rose energy, what does that bring up for you? For a lot of people, they might say passion or softness or feminine energy. There's a lot of different things that roses can represent. But maybe you just got a rose or saw a rose and it brings up a specific event, right? Really trust whatever is coming up for you, and share it down in the chat below. What do you see in this card outside of his abs? Is there anything I haven't mentioned that you see? And I'm just going to give us a couple minutes to vibe with that before I dive into what I see. And I think it's really awesome when people share what they see and what they're feeling from the cards, because it really is like a collective reading, and your interpretations and the energy that you're feeling from the cards is equally as important as what I'm saying. And a lot of times it adds on to it in a way that maybe I didn't say or didn't even think of, and really adds more depth to it and may relate to someone else, and may bring up something for someone else that is medicine for them. So, your voice and your voice and your intuition is also very powerful and important. All right, so let's go ahead and see what people are saying in the chat. So we got Infinity Halo equals forever holy. Ooh, I love that. Opening, surrender, softness, expanding. We have I love a strong vibes, like believing in yourself. I love the yellow around him, almost like a new day. I really like that. New feelings, new vibes, new opportunities. We also have relaxing. Yeah, the Magician card traditionally is a card all about your self-will, and it's all about manifesting, and it's the connection of as above, so below. Very much bringing things from above, which if you're not super religious or spiritual or believe in like something divine, you can look at it as just like bringing things from your thoughts into reality, right? Like, oh, I thought about this painting and then I went and I painted it, right? I brought it from here down below. And if you are, someone who believes in the divine or spirit or some sort of higher power like that, this could be something that could refer to like channeling from God, from creator down to earth through what you're doing, your purpose, your power, and kind of having that connection to bring it from the heavens to earth is the traditional kind of meaning of the Magician card. It's really a card all about manifestation, like I said, and self-will. So when I see this card though, what I'm really thinking about today for me personally is I'm really interested in how like this card really speaks to me about showing up. And it also to me really, as you can see, they have tools. He got his tools right here. Showing up and putting your tools to use in your life and whatever that means for you. I really also liked what I saw in the chat about the softness and opening up and the new day. There is an energy I feel about like newness and freshness with this card, and this idea of just looking at things differently. And this is also a card so important when we see the Magician upright versus reverse. Reverse is all about forcing things and forcing your will, and it's instead of being in alignment with what is in harmony for everyone, the entire collective, your highest good is always what's the highest good for those around you as well. And a lot of times, we're raised in trauma and in fear that has us believing that what's the best for me can't possibly be better for other people, and it's me over, it's us versus them type of mentality. And so this card being upright right now to me also feels like it's calling attention to that, how important it is when we are creating and when we are navigating life and when we're showing up in spaces and busting our shirts out that we are also doing what's in harmony for everyone else around us. When we are confidently in our power and navigating with that kind of mindfulness, there is a place that exists where you can be in your highest good and in your best potential and in your shine, and that shouldn't have to take away from anybody else, or be something where you're forcing energy and forcing things and not in alignment with what is actually the best for everybody around you, yourself, and then if you believe in the divine, their plan for you as well. And I always say if, because for me, tarot is it doesn't have to be based in religious practices. I'm very spiritual, and my beliefs is definitely that there's a divine and an energy and a connection, but I try to be mindful of that because I want this to be something that could be applied for anybody watching this, and for you to be able to take something from it regardless of your belief and apply it to whatever's comfortable for you. I know for me personally, there are certain words around the divine that were not as comfortable for me at one time until my thought and belief on it kind of expanded. So if you hear me say different words, just know it's because I'm trying to use words that are more universal or that could be changed to fit whatever makes sense for you. Let's see what else is in the chat. We have Underground Promoter says, yee, let's go. Manifesting success to everyone who are going for their dreams and the best for their lives. You're a new you every day. Ooh, let's go. You're a new you every day. Be the best you can be. I feel that, right? Bringing power to all those in your life. Yeah, there's a lot of this renewed energy that I feel with this card, and this reminder of our personal power in the way that we, like Underground Promoter said, bringing power to all those in your life. I definitely feel that with this card, like this, and like Kiani said, that softness, opening up to our ability to, realize that we do have a lot of personal power to bring some good into the lives of others. And this can be as simple as, being a little more mindful on your commute to work, and, when you pass someone by, just holding the door open for no matter who they are, boy, girl, etc. You know what I mean? Just like offering that quiet silence, or even, a hello or whatever it is, whatever feels comfortable for you and authentic in that moment. But, that invitation of shared sense of community, a shared sense of it's like giving it, seeing the person in front of you as a person so that they can feel that power too. You know what I'm saying? In everything you do. As simple as getting your coffee, or go to the grocery store and just like taking the time to connect with the people in front of you, to show them that you see the power in them, to make them feel that they see the power in them, so that you also feel the power within yourself, that reciprocalness. Which, someone mentioned on here about, I think it was Demon Boy, mentioned about the halo on the top, which is the infinity symbol. And in the traditional tarot interpretations, this is all about the reciprocalness of things and the cycles of things and how all is connected, as above, so below. It's all connected, right? So the way we can bring that to ourselves also brings that to other people, and I love that perspective of like every day is a new day to to try again, to empower ourselves, to empower the people around us. Underground Promoter says togetherness, love, and unity is everything. I love that. And I also feel like this is like, going back to the thing about confidence earlier, like feeling confident that you do have the tools, you do have the tools, and that you have the ability to do whatever it is. Like, you are built for this. You are made for this. This is your purpose, your path. And this can be applied as a specific message for a career you're looking at, for, aspect of your life that it may resonate with. If you're going through a difficult time, if things have been harder and you know there's transformation, but it just hasn't really stuck its head out quite, it's like you are built for this, you are made for this, and you do have the tools in front of you to get through this moment and to push through and to create that bigger, better life for yourself and for those around you, that is harmonious for everyone. You know, I definitely feel that with this Magician card right now. And it's a very intuitive card with the blue. Blues represent intuition, red represents passion a lot of times in the tarot, and yellow does represent a lot of newness and freshness. And I just love that he's glowing, you know. Oh my gosh, Demon Boy said it looks like Jim Morrison. I love the Doors. So that is freaking hilarious to me. It does look like Jim Morrison a little bit, low-key. That's funny. All right, but we had two cards that came out, and with tarot, usually when cards come out together, there's also an understanding that they play with one another, like, you know, they speak to each other. So the second card that came out is the King of Pentacles. Interesting. Which I actually kind of picked it up reverse, but it's upright. I'm just going to let you all bond with it. Go ahead and look at it. Let me know what you see. If anything sticks out to you, just like we did with the Magician card. We'll look at it separately, not think about it with the Magician card necessarily. Unless the message is coming out for you, then speak it. Do not hesitate. But just let me know what you see here in the King of Pentacles. And I'm going to give you all a couple minutes. You can journal around it. Sip some tea, coffee, orange juice, water, whatever it is. Man, it feels so good to be back on here live with you all. It's so much more fun. I love when you guys share what you see. Like, it gives me so much juice when I pull tarot and getting to hear it. And even when I do tarot for clients, you know, it's not in this kind of format. So it's really, really cool when the whole community kind of steps in and shares what they see. Because, like I said, it always is like, ooh, okay. Like, some of them I'm like, yeah, that's what I was picking up too. And some of it's like, ooh, you just took it one step further. I love that. So yeah, it's super rejuvenating, I guess, for me as well. And one of the things that made me want to come back on here and do the Instagram lives, because on the YouTube I do it, but I also feel like I'm talking to myself. Which is cool. I always talk to myself. It's cool. Shout out to DJ Wiltrix. All right, let's see. Demon Boy says to manifest and to triumph. I love that. Underground Promoter says, yeah, boss up, y'all. Hell yeah, this is awesome. Respect to the Doors. So yeah, I get some boss up vibes from that. That's for sure. Anyone else get anything else from this before I dive into it? All right. I'm just going to hop into it. Okay, so King of Pentacles traditionally in the tarot is kind of representative of the Taurus energy. It's also, whenever you see any of the kings or queens or knights, they represent, or pages, physical people typically. But it doesn't always have to be a physical person. But, you know, in this case, because it is the King of Pentacles, it could represent a physical man. Like if you yourself identify as a man or a man in your life. Or just masculine energy in general, which I believe we all have masculine and feminine energy within ourselves. So it could be masculine traits you find within yourself, or your relationship to the divine masculine and masculine energy. And like I said, it's also Taurus energy. So this could be, you know, about your relationship with Taurus energy specifically, or someone who might be a Taurus. And the King of Pentacles is all about definitely boss energy. It's also really about security and feeling secure and being secure, and think material abundance, and thinking about feeling like really grounded and secure, all those types of things that really, it's financial success. It's, you know, very Taurus energy, ground, earth, financial when you're big, all the things. Look at him. He got grapes in the bag. He's eating nice. He got the wine vineyards. He got his nice big castle up here. He got the bullhorn. So if anybody tries to come and take his ish, he will, you know. He's in his nice little robes. And I don't know. He don't look too happy though. Money is not happiness, that's for sure. But it did, and I do feel intuitively, and that's why I'm going to say it, is because I pulled it up reverse. I do feel like in general, collectively, we are in an energy that is a little bit, a lot of it, depending on your situation, insecure in terms of finances, in terms of just the world, the dynamics, and trusting that, everything is going to be okay. And just, there's a lot of insecurity that is happening physically, emotionally, spiritually, in our world today. But I like that it was also that I picked it up and it was just upright, because I feel like with this Magician card here, and going back to how they kind of play on each other and how you would read that, again, it's based on what you are seeing or feeling and sensing, but based on what I know of the Magician, and what I feel with this King of Pentacles right now is a sense of like, even if you do feel this way, is this especially when we're talking about renewed energy with this Magician card, is that every day is a new opportunity to turn it around. Every day is a new opportunity to try again, and to be open to possibilities, and being open to resources and blessings that you may not have seen before. And this is not no wishful thinking or anything like that, because I'm all about action, and I'm also not about just love and lighting the negative aspects of life away. But I also, as someone who is a full-time artist and doesn't know where my next, paycheck is going to come from, I also know how important it is for myself, and to not allow myself to be like in anxiety and financial insecurity in the point where that's all I can think about, and I'm not allowing myself to be open to different opportunities that could lead me to this kind of success. It's almost like you shoot yourself in the foot because you're so anxious and worried about things that it's kind of closing off your energy. And that's a very real dynamic that can play out as well. And I've experienced a lot, and something I've had to work throughout the years, and even currently still, because life be life, and all the things going on right now. So I definitely feel like for myself, this is a message to continue to keep my energy open, and remember that every day is a new day, and that there are blessings and miracles all around us. And how you show up, the energy you show up in, the vibration you show up in, does affect this. You know what I'm saying? It does say a lot about how you value yourself, and what you're putting out for how others will value you, and how you're able to navigate the space to create opportunities for yourself. If you're open and you are using the tools you have, you'll be able to create a lot more opportunities than if you're closed off and not in your confidence, and not aware of the tools that you have, and not aware that we're all connected, and feeling isolated and alone, and just like, man, nothing's ever going to get better, all those kind of thoughts that can just which are really real, super valid. But I think the energy here is reminding us too that while some of us may be here, and I think others of us are here, and that's why it came out kind of that you have so much power in your day-to-day, every single day, to turn it around and make it something different, and to allow yourself to be open to that, and to work on this as much as possible so that you can use the tools that are in front of you. You know what I mean? And sometimes those tools are like mutual aid. Sometimes those tools are, SNAP benefits, which I know there's been a lot going on with that politically. Sometimes those tools are reaching out to a friend, who can help you, get your car towed, because they have AAA and you don't, whatever that is. Sometimes when we're in this kind of energy here, this is that energy of like, oh, well, no one's going to help me, and I'm not going to call anyone, and I don't have anyone to call. But did you try? Did you try to call anybody? Did you reach out to anybody? Did you even ask? And sometimes we do, and it doesn't work out. But, this is more a message directly if you're like kind of, counting yourself out before even giving yourself that opportunity and chance. And again, it doesn't take away from any of the real life circumstances and stuff that happens in our day-to-day that is very real, but this is a message to, just kind of see how it fits for your specific situation, your specific aspect, because everyone's situation is different, if that makes sense. And for those who, because I do think, this is a collective reading, so there's a lot of energy. And sorry if I'm kind of going in on it, but I feel like a lot coming through because this energy came up kind of upright and up down. I think there are some a lot of people who are going through a lot of financial insecurity and insecurity in general, but I also think there are a lot of people who are feeling really secure with where they are and open to new opportunities and showing up and stepping up in community in different new ways. And so if that is you, I think this is also a call to feel confident in your offering and to feel confident in the resources that you have and your ability to share it with other people and bless them, because I think that that's something that never underestimate how much that impacts those individual people who you bless, like with your, and this could be something as simple as like maybe you're not financially feeling secure, but you have more time on your hands. So you're, helping out your neighbor who, who is going through some financial stuff and needs someone to watch their baby for an hour each day so they can go to the bank, whatever it is, it's a terrible analogy, but you get what I'm saying, like everyone may not have the same amount of resources. Everyone has different resources. Everyone has different levels of things that they bring to the table. But this is that energy of like recognizing what it is that you bring to the table and what it is that you are abundant in, and feeling confident in your ability to serve in that way and to open yourself up to using those resources so that you can actually bring more in for yourself and for those around you. Because I think this is also an energy that's really showing us how flawed our perception has been of if I help others or if I put myself out there, and do those things, that I have to be afraid that it's gonna, that there's not enough for everybody, But I truly believe that when we do show up in the ways that we can, and really focus on the collective and how we can uplift everybody in the collective, instead of like being in this insecurity that can be more in our heads a lot of times too, then we're able to help everybody out, you know what I mean? And show up where we can, which, if finances isn't where you can show up, maybe there's somewhere else that you have a wealth of abundance in. And I think all of us have a wealth of abundance in something. So energy is everything, and everything's reciprocal, going back to this, right? So it's like maybe your situation is financially not secure, but your way that you show up in different ways is abundant, and allowing yourself to show up in that way instead of closing yourself off from that, so that energy can continue flowing and that you can be supported in the ways that you need, and vice versa. Maybe you have the financials but you're emotionally and spiritually not secure and depleted, right? And so maybe that's showing up with your finances and supporting those who give you that kind of emotional and spiritual rejuvenation, right? That could be something like, that one friend you love to talk to, but they've been going through it, so they just haven't been available, and you're like, hey girl, hey boy, hey, bestie, whoever, let me take you out to dinner, because they probably would really enjoy that if they're going through some financial insecurities, and let them know, like, you don't gotta worry about paying me back, I just want to bless you up, let me take you out to dinner, I miss you, I just want to see how you're doing. And you may not get anything back from that financially, and maybe in the past you're working through that. You're working through understanding that it's not about you getting anything back financially, because you don't need anything back financially. What you were receiving back was that connection with your friend, and that connection to a human, and that ability to feel like you're helping somebody and loving up on somebody that you love, not because you pity them or anything like that, but because you want to bless them up, because you have the resources to do that, and they need that blessing, and they have the resources to pour back into you with that emotional love and that spiritual love, which is super important as well. All aspects of life are important. So this is really the message that I feel intuitively that was coming through with these cards connecting right now. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest, and if you feel something different with that energy, trust that, because who am I to have no authority on what you feel, you know what I mean? It's all about pulling out in the subconscious and making it make sense for you. Okay, let's read some of these comments. Demon Boy said, like the opposite of the magician, the king seems like he's not happy where he's at. Ooh, that could be a whole other message, right? Like maybe you do feel secure in, like, you have the resources, like you're okay, right? Like on paper, right? Like you should be okay, but you don't feel happy where you're at. Like something's missing, right? And maybe that is showing up in a different way to find that kind of fulfillment. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we think we have everything on paper, what's really missing is community and connection and giving back. And you know, think about the world right now, right? We have so many people who have a ton of resources and in specific things like money, and a lot of people who don't have those resources, right? And that doesn't equal happiness. But if we all kind of shared what we have, imagine how much more happier the world would be. You know what I mean? But I think we are taught to isolate and be individualistic and to think everyone's out to get us than we are to be like, hey, let's show up to the table and, you know, bring all of our resources together and take care of one another, and that can be really fulfilling in a way that maybe you didn't know it could be if you haven't been able to experience that. So yeah, I think that's really interesting what you said about not being happy where you're at, and that definitely could be a message as well. Maybe not that specific situation that I said, but take it as it resonates, right? Underground Promoter said, it's like you are in charge of your own path and your own journey. You may have an aspect of your path for others who may relate to you who follow the same path. Yeah, I love that. Even just knowledge is a resource, you know what I mean? When we come together and share that, powerful. Demon Boy said, it's about the journey and not about the destination. That's what I get from both the cards. I love that. Life be lifin'. Life do be lifin', that's for sure. Underground Promoter says, your words really makes the feeling come on strong right now. And Demon Boy says, we are beings of love and spreading love feels great. The universe is speaking truth. Yeah, and like I said, to me, that's something that's been really, I would say, opening me up in different ways, is being amazed at how, you know, I think we're taught to value certain things like the dollar, right, over different types of service or different types of resources. And when you start to realize what it is that you do have to give, and it doesn't always have to be finances, or even just realizing, wow, I do have these finances, and, you know, yeah, I was taught to be like really to hoard it or to, you know, be, you know, very conservative with it. But maybe if I gave a little bit more, you know, this could fulfill me in other areas, aspects of my heart and my mind and my body and my spirit that I didn't realize, because now I'm giving back to community and I'm making sure that all can benefit. So yeah, I definitely feel that. All right. Okay. So that's just the overall energy. And typically when I do like personal readings, we dive a little bit more into like specific advice with the tarot. But we've been on here gabbing for a while, and I do try to keep these lives about an hour in length. So I'm going to go ahead and now focus on pulling some advice cards from the Oracle cards. So I have the Moon deck, one of my favorite decks right here. I got the Threads of Fate deck, and I have the Goddess, Gods, and Angels deck. And Oracle cards are similar to tarot cards. The only real difference is that the tarot itself has a specific history and has a specific story that it tells. It tells the fool's journey. And when you understand the story and the history of it, it helps you to better understand what the cards are saying, and then using your intuition to interpret the story as you're pulling them, if that makes sense, coupled with the history of the cards. While as with oracle cards, anybody can make oracle cards, and they don't have to, like, these cards are all different. They have all different images, all different messages, and, you know, you could do an oracle deck based on Pokemon, you know, and you could be like, Eevee is a Taurus energy, you know, so if you pull the Eevee card, you need to get out in nature and ground, and remember that you have a million possibilities of what you might turn into, just like Eevee, you know. That's as simple as it is to sorry, I don't know why the Pokemon card thing has me fucking laughing my ass off. It's hilarious. I would love to see a Pokemon Oracle deck, though. I think that would be fire. Like, you get Charizard and be like, you are probably moody and need to sit your butt down. You don't feel like cooperating right now. You don't want to do ish. You're tired of people telling you to do stuff. You know, Charizard. You're Pikachu. Pikachu always on, you know, can't be contained. He's got to be out and about. Can't be in that Pokeball. He doesn't want to be hidden. Okay. Anyways, there's so many things we could say with Pokemon. All right. So let's go ahead and see what the advice is coming out with these Oracle cards. I really like this deck specifically. It's called the Threads of Fate Shadow Edition. And I love it because it's really all about the shadow aspects of us. And, you know, if Shadow aspects just means like the part of ourselves that we reject, right? And a lot of times when we see other people and we're like, oh, I don't like this person, it's a lot because of what we reject within ourselves. And of course that isn't because, you know, maybe that person does need to take accountability on something or be responsible, or there's a personality difference or a boundary, right? But if it's not those things, and the other thing is that it's just irritating something within you, those are the aspects of yourself that you repress, you know, that you want to hide. And this is just all about working with those aspects, because they're going to be there regardless, right? And like, we can work on them and consciously shape it and work with it, or you can reject it and it just continue to subconsciously sabotage things. All right, so this is the Explorer energy that came out. And with the Oracle decks, I like to just read it and then allow those who are receiving the reading to just listen to the words and pick out what sticks out to you and what that makes you think of, especially connecting to what we just read with the Magician and the King of Pentacles. Even just the word explorer might bring up something for you. We also have the heart and the eye. So maybe like leading with your heart, or moving towards your heart, or moving towards whatever this eye represents for you. But I'm going to go ahead and read it for you. If there's anything that does stick out, let me know down below. It says, the explorer calls you out of your routine and into a rhythm with your deepest self and all that is around you. Hey, that's very much given that magician energy showing up. When people think explore, sometimes they conjure up images of grand travel expeditions. And while travel can be illuminating and profound, do not fool yourself into thinking that the experiences you need are out of reach. Explore from where you are. Explore on your own by doing new things and projects. Explore your current environment, even if it's just taking a different route on your way to work. The explorer calls for a shakeup of the typical and the ordinary. Consider reflecting and journaling around the following questions. When you think of the word explore, what do you see in your mind's eye? What qualities are brought out in you? And when you are exploring, what do you sense? Curiosity, excitement, play. A balanced explorer is driven by a need for freedom and to learn about the world around them. They do not like to be bound by society's expectations. Instead, they prefer that their external world reflects that internal world of mystery and curiosity. An explorer who is out of balance can have some ungroundedness and instability. Those that struggle being present with themselves may become addicted to constantly moving and going new places, doing new things, and meeting new people. Explorers may also have a tendency to refuse to sacrifice their freedoms in the immediate, risking their ability to survive, build for the future. Example, not getting a steady job because they want to travel, only to find themselves in debt years later and then forced to sacrifice freedom so they can survive. If this resonates for you, consider spending more time in solitude with no distractions. Allow for stillness to see what must be unearthed within you. Yeah, so let me know if there's anything in this card that's resonating for you all. For me, I definitely just feel like this is about exploring that relationship with the magician energy. And that relationship, like I said, with what you have to offer and how you can show up in new ways, and just exploring that. You know what I mean? How does it feel when you do this? And how can you use the tools that you have to also benefit yourself, but also the people around you? You know what I mean? Because I truly believe when we are in alignment and harmony for what's for everyone's good, it really does benefit everyone. Let's see what I see in the chat. Also, shout out to everybody who's participating in the chat. I appreciate you all. You making my time here amazing. So Underground Promoter says your words really make the no, we said that already. You said respect to everyone who these messages, these words can affect in the best way possible. Demon Boy says, I got Pokemon cards right now. I would love for you to pull a Pokemon. Yes, you said about to do a reading right now. Please pull a Pokemon card for us. Tell me what comes out. Tell us in the chat. We'll be good. Pull a Pokemon card for the collective, please. That would be so great. Okay, please do that. I'm just curious. And then we can all say what we think that Pokemon energy is giving the collective right now. I would love that. But while you do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull the next card. If you want to do it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. I just think it would be fun. Collaboration brings more sweetness into my life and into the world. See, this feels like such confirmation to what I just said about, showing up, and when we show up, using what we have to show up and how we can help others, that it really serves everyone, including ourselves. Ooh, proper rest helps me feel and look my best. Ooh, I love that. And I think this might be a message for someone who might feel guilt if they're not able to show up, or they're really tired, or, definitely this might be a specific message for you. I'm going to read these cards. And again, if there's something that sticks out, let me know down below. Let's see, number 6. Collaboration. Collaboration brings visions to life and teaches us how to work with each other to reach a common goal. We can pollinate the world with more beauty and abundance while learning skills of focus, cooperation, productivity, fellowship, and alchemy. The sacred bee is an impressive collaborator and brings vital nourishment into our lives. Bees work hard with incredible focus and cannot survive without the community and hive. They symbolize how the alchemic result of working together is a powerful process, and it transmutes something ordinary into extraordinary. Man, this feels so affirming. Okay, anyways. Collaboration is supportive and necessary energy for you to connect with right now. It will open new pathways and help you accomplish what may otherwise seem impossible, while fostering more joy in the creative process. Open up, reach out, and create something sweet and magical with others. I love this. And then maybe the bee or honey or any of those things mean something to you. Demon Boy said, I pulled a Mankey. Is Mankey, what type of Pokemon are they? Not Earth, it's our ground. Is it fighting? Mankey. I feel like it is, maybe. I gotta pull it up on my iPad. Hold on. Give me a second. Don't mind me. Do a little. Doing some acrobats over here. I want to pull it up so we can look this Mankey card up. Okay, well, I'm turning this on because we are going to pull it up, and I do want to see what the Pokemon card is that we got for the collective. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and read this one. It says, proper rest helps us feel our best. So, like I said, I feel like this is a specific message for someone in the collective right now. And this also, I didn't mention this earlier, but these messages are relevant regardless of whether you whether you listen to this right now or whether you play this back later. Even if you're here on the live and you listen to it back, I've had certain tarot readings because I have certain readers who I get readings from and who have taught me, and I will play their videos back and get the message in a completely different way, even though I already heard that message. And that's one of the magical things about tarot. And also, I'm going to keep this up on my page, so those who may be watching this on the playback. But I definitely feel like this is for somebody. And if it's not you, maybe it's somebody in your life who, if you have someone in your life right now who you feel like maybe is feeling a little sluggish, or maybe is kind of out of it, or, maybe they need that rest. And maybe this is just confirmation that some people around you are in this energy. It says, proper rest is key to keeping our eyes bright, our skin clear, our vibe high, and our magical powers on point during our waking hours. Your body and spirit want to rest so that you're restored and feeling your best. You don't need to earn your beauty sleep. You deserve it and thrive with it. You'll feel more stable, make healthier choices, be more focused, and have more energy. Slow down and welcome a sweet, restful phase to enter your life. Sleep well at night or add in necessary naps during the day to help subside imbalanced emotions, roller coaster cravings, and kick your body's healing system into full gear. Be sure to make time for sleep, rest, and relaxation. That part, relaxation, no phone, not sleeping. You're just allowing yourself to be still and doing nothing. It's a vital part of true self-care, which in turn impacts your service. There's that word again. Presence and success in the world. Restore and nurture your inner and outer beauty. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Shout out to Kudalot Designs up in the building. Demon Boy says, yes, fighting it. It's like a monkey. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was like a monkey. And it was a fighting type. That was what I was leaning towards. He said, I love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with you. Thank you for being here. For reals, though, because it is way more boring to do this when I'm not talking to people on live. Not that I don't enjoy doing it still. It's just way more fun when there's people here. And, you know, that you're participating and also pulling Pokemon cards. I love it. Okay, let's see. Mankey Pokeball. I have it in my head, like, what it looks like, but I want to make sure that it's the actual card that I'm thinking of. Because it's been a long time since I've watched... like, you know, do you watch the new Pokemon? That's actually a question for you. Do you watch the new Pokemon? I haven't watched any of the new Pokemon, but I used to love watching Pokemon when I was younger. And because my birth name is Mary Ashley, I have 2 first names. My brothers would always call me Ash, and I used to get upset because I'd be like, I'm not a boy, don't call me that. Although now as an adult, I'm like, that was cool. Wait. Okay, are we back in? We're back. Okay. Mankey, let's see. Okay, yeah, here we go. Here's our little Mankey. Oh, wait, can you see it? Yeah. So what kind of energy is that giving y'all? I feel like it's about, Mankey gives me the energy right now just of standing your ground. Being willing to be challenged. Like, not necessarily physically, but, you know, challenged maybe in your mentality, challenged in how you're navigating, challenged in your thought process, challenged in your beliefs. Being willing to fight for yourself, you know, like fight for that better life. Being willing to fight for what it is like you want to see, you know, like showing up every day and trying again. Like that's a fight sometimes, you know, it doesn't have to be. But also this is a fighting Pokemon who kicks butt, so maybe someone's butt needs to be kicked. Okay. I'm done with that. Okay. All right, we got one last deck we're going to pull from. Let's see, Demon Boy said, sometimes I fold my pillow and put on my lower back and massage myself. Yes, that sounds amazing. He said, I'm not caught up with Pokemon, but I grew up with it too. Yeah, I haven't watched the new series and stuff. And all the Pokemon stuff after Crystal on the Game Boy, I'm not as familiar with. All right, let's go ahead and pull one last card before we hop off this live and see what comes through for the collective. Thanks for entertaining my Pokemon side quest. Okay. But I think it's a great way to show like how Oracle cards work too, and how it really is about tapping into your intuition, because that's really important, and people will try to kind of like, you know, hold that over you as like you're not capable of reading these cards and being tapped into your intuition. You need me, you know, and it's like that's super disempowering in my opinion. And when I pull tarot, I really want it to be an empowering experience for those who are receiving it. You know, because anyone can pull tarot, and it should be helping you to connect deeper into your intuition and feel more confident about what's going on in your internal world so that you can better navigate the external world, you know? All right, we have Angel of Guidance. Aren't these cards so beautiful? And Angel of Union. Yo, that's crazy. When I was shuffling the cards, sorry if I'm going in and out. Okay. When I was shuffling the cards earlier, I actually saw this card come out. So I definitely think this is really some. All right, let's go ahead and read them. And because this deck is actually my newest deck, I don't even have really much of, I don't even think I've pulled these ones before. So I'm excited to see what it shows. All right, Angel of Union. It says a partnership is blessed and destined for success. A merger, partnership, or relationship of some kind is being formed, which looks like it holds long-term benefits for your life. This relationship, partnership, or merger with someone you already know or deal with is blessed and destined for greatness of some kind. Many great and wonderful things are birthed as a result of this union, which will continue to grow and strengthen for the rest of your life. Thank the universe for this wonderful blessing. Oh, I love that. Yeah, take that as it resonates. I can definitely see this connecting to just like community energy in general, but I feel like for a lot of you, this is like a specific person or a specific energy that you are connected to. And I think it's just a little confirmation for you, little affirmation. Okay. Angel of Guidance. This is going to be our last card before I hop on here. I want to thank you all again so much for being here and joining me. All right. Let's see. It says, a renewed sense of direction and purpose will soon manifest. You have felt a bit lost and confused lately, perhaps not sure of which direction to take. The angel of guidance has felt your silent cries for help and is here to guide you upon your soul's chosen path. And I also have to say, if the word angel doesn't resonate for you, don't get hung up on that. I know some people like the idea of angels, some people don't. It's literally just saying the energy of this card. But if you do like the word of an angel and you do feel like it's a physical angel in your life, definitely lean into that. But I just wanted to point that out because I don't want, certain words and things, like I said, can have trauma or history that doesn't resonate, and that can prevent us from being able to receive the message. And regardless of what word you use, I think this message is definitely here to give you some medicine, It says, close your eyes for a few moments. And feel a healing, calming, and clarifying light swell from your heart center. Feel it expand through your auric field, creating an aura of rainbow light around you. In your mind's eye, there's that word again, imagine before you a beautiful golden path surrounded by the lush foliage of trees and flowers. And visualize yourself upon this path, heading towards the sun beyond the horizon. The golden path symbolizes your journey in this life. While the sun is the reflection of your soul, which is your guiding light, stop trying to figure it all out. Sorry, I'm laughing because I feel like that was a little message to me. And simply trust, for you are always on the right path, whether you know it or not. Practice the golden path meditation a little each day and surrender to your angels of guidance who are here to help you. You will have a renewed sense of direction and purpose very soon. Trust and love. There's that word love again. Hey. Something came through with the mind's eye. Because that word came up multiple times and it was also on the explorer thing, it made me also think about what we were talking about earlier about keeping ourselves open to the possibilities, open to the idea that there is a different reality that can exist. And really seeing it in your mind's eye of what is that reality. And I don't mean this in like a woo-woo type of delusional way. I mean this like, how would you move through the world, right? What does that world look like? What does your daily life look like? And how can you bring your spirit, your character, your energy every single day more and more to that world? You know what I mean? And that goes back to the idea of it being a daily practice and something that you get every single day, which can be like defeating or like sad at times if you're like, man, every day I feel like I'm failing or I'm not able to rise to that, right? But then it's like, it's also exciting because every day is a new opportunity and a refresh and a restart to try again. You know what I mean? Like it's never, oh, you can't change anything, you're just stuck. It's like, no, it's actually anytime. It may be hard. And you may fall 1,000 times and it may take you 10 years to really shift certain aspects of ourselves, right? To create that vision in our mind's eye. But it is possible, is the point. And every day is a new day to practice getting stronger in that discipline and in that representation of who you are and the world you want to see. And especially with all the things going on in the world, that's something that I think about a lot is what is that kind of world that I want to see, and how can I hold that vision in my mind's eye and when I'm navigating in spaces and when I'm going through my daily life, so that I permeate that, and how I show up and my offering to the world and my conversations and how I, just go about my day. And if I'm not able to see it in my mind's eye because everything's bogging me down, how can I be part of the action to create that world? You know what I mean? And that's been something that is really helps me to not like give into apathy or, just be depressed, which, I totally get, if you are feeling depressed and all those things, like, I don't want to downplay that or say that this is just going to make that go away, right? But for me, it's something that really helps me to empower myself to be part of that kind of solution for myself and for the world and for what I want to see. And it all starts with what I see in my mind's eye and molding that vision, right? Because sometimes we don't even know, and I know I'm going on a tangent right now, but it's coming through. I'm feeling it right now. But sometimes we don't even know what that is. You know what I mean? Sometimes you like, I know I don't want to be where I'm at. You know, I know I want things to be better, but I don't exactly know who or what that is, right? But every little action forward, every day you do some magician work, you know, is one step closer to that. And, you know, there are many things, especially as an artist and just in general, that I couldn't have seen in my mind's eye because I didn't know the possibility at the time, right? But that mind's eye vision has transformed and has, you know, shaped and molded throughout the years. And similar here with whatever it is, right? Trust, you know, trust, like it says, trust, and know that that vision can shape over its years, that you know, you work towards it, but showing up every day and working on holding that vision in your mind's eye, I think is so important, especially during times where there's a lot of anxiety or things happening that feel insecure. Holding the vision for the highest good. And actually, this is something a friend shared with me. Shout out to Spacewalker. She's also another incredible artist and a good friend of mine who's based in Santa Rosa but used to be in Sacramento. And she used to tell me that when she was just like having conversations with people, right? And maybe you have a disagreement with somebody and it's someone you really love, someone you really care about, right? It's easy for all of us, especially if, you know, it's a family member or somebody you have a history with, right? It's very easy for all of us to just be like, this mother person right now, you know what I mean? And just go on a little spiral down, completely human, right? I completely understand that. And I don't think I am the best at this practice, but I love when she shared this with me because it's something that I kind of direct myself to when I feel like I'm getting off track or I'm to, you know, losing that vision. Is that she was saying when you have those conversations and disagreements with other people while you're having the conversation, right? In that moment, you're like, okay, what is my highest vision of how I want this to turn out? I really love this person. You know, I may not be loving how they're talking to me right now or how this situation's, you know, their energy, but I do love this person. And in my highest vision, I want this person to understand where I'm coming from. I would want them to apologize. I want us to be able to reach some sort of understanding. I want us to be able to communicate. I'd love for us to be able to have a heart-to-heart and just feel like we respect each other, you know, those kinds of things. That's like in your mind's eye. It's not what you're saying to them, although maybe, you know, but the way she was explaining is it's like, it's more just with the energy of what you're holding in your heart and your mind's eye, even in the middle of this disagreement, right? And that may be like, hey, you know, I'm going to hold this in my mind's eye, but I'm also going to have to like physically take a break and not have a conversation with you and have a boundary so that I can work on that vision. You know, it doesn't mean you just let yourself get walked on or anything like that, but just rerouting your mind to like, you know, it's so easy. And we see this all the time, especially with things that are happening politically, right? It's so easy to just be like, you know, what if I think about my mind's vision of it is like coming back to like, man, it should be about supporting collective community support, making sure that we're all good. You know, that's the vision. That's what I need to keep in my mind's eye as I have these conversations. And I hope that everyone keeps in their mind's eye when they have those kind of conversations that can be difficult and heated on all those things, whether we're talking about our personal relationships or with friends or work relationships, etc., etc. While also getting to honor yourself, you know, and having boundaries, you know. So hopefully that makes sense, but I just want to thank everybody so much for being here, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this time together. Like I said, I haven't done a tea and tarot in a long time, but it felt really, really good to be here with you all. I am gonna try and keep doing this. We'll see. So just check in on the stories. I'll let you guys know. I'll let everybody know. You know, like I posted today on my story, like, hey, I'm coming to Tea and Tarot. Come say what's up. So I'll let you guys know in my story. If I do continue to do it, it will probably always be on a Thursday around the same time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll probably keep that the same, even if I don't do it every week, so that you know when it would be and when to expect it. So expect 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and check in on the story, and I'll let you know. I'm feeling like we'll probably be back next week, but you know, life be life and sometimes and all that stuff. But anyways, I love and appreciate you all so much. Thank you for being here. Take good care of yourselves. You know, be kind to yourselves, be compassionate to yourselves, have grace for yourself, and yeah, just keep doing your best. See you all next week. Bye.